Good morning. My name is Rev, and I have had my truck stop coffee and my questionable truck stop breakfast burrito, and now I am at the Knife River Indian Villages in North Dakota. I'm actually on the middle of a road trip right now, and I'm heading ultimately to the Theodore Roosevelt National Park in order to take a look at the sights and just enjoy the long weekend here. It's the 4th of July today. I actually got started yesterday. Thought about filming yesterday, but I had a few problems. It was a little bit of a comedy of errors yesterday, so I thought that's probably the more interesting vlog, admittedly, but I ran into a lot of problems, which I'll get into in just a minute. But today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Knife River. We're going to look at the Knife River Indian Villages. We're going to look at the Enchanted Highway in North Dakota, and then we're going to go to Theodore Roosevelt National Park and the accompanying town. So basically kind of the main sites within North Dakota. I know a few people have asked me, why did I not go to South Dakota? Why did I not go somewhere else? I just wanted something kind of low-key and not super busy over the 4th of July. I figured some of the sites would be pretty busy, really. Even this may end up being busy at Theodore Roosevelt. Hopefully I can get a campsite. I did not book one in advance. We're just going to roll up and find out. I drive a 1986 Ford Ecoline club wagon, which is a van. I am quite fond of it. I picked it up a little less than a year ago, probably about 10 months ago, and I've been working on it with my aunt ever since. But when you're driving a van that's almost 40 years old, you run into issues. One of the things that I ran into yesterday was that I went to turn on the van and it did not start. So my aunt actually had to come all the way 45 minutes from where she worked. She came, she took a look, she said it's an issue with the idle. She monkeyed with it a little bit and then it started to work. Then when I woke up this morning, it was not working. But I was able to do what she told me to do to get it going again. And we were able to keep driving. Additionally, yesterday, not only did I drive for like 8 hours, I'm actually from Minnesota initially, but I drove in, I think, the worst rainstorm that I have ever experienced in my entire life. Genuinely. I almost caused a crash because the wind was so strong that I was pushed towards the center lane and I was having difficulty controlling it. A white truck came on by. They were able to dodge me, but if they had not been able to see me in the torrential downpour, things would have been a little rough. Thankfully, though, it was fine. Everybody was fine. Everybody had their hazards on. I realized I don't actually know how to turn on hazards in this vehicle. I also don't know if it has hazards, so I'm going to be Googling that after this video. And also, 40-year-old van, the windshield wipers do work, thank God, but they're not exactly designed to be going, 50 miles an hour, right, back and forth. So visibility was a little rough, so we were crawling our way. We finally made it. I did get to see a lot of fireworks, which was pretty cool. I do wish I had filmed that. Lots of fireworks, especially when you're driving through North Dakota, it's plains. So you basically can see fireworks from like 3 towns all at once. Everybody was doing their fireworks on the 3rd, which I think makes sense because this did land on a Thursday and some people have to work tomorrow. I did take tomorrow off, so I'm going to be traveling really just from Wednesday night through Monday. I'm going to go back home on Monday and just enjoy the sights. So we're going to go check out the Indian Village. We're going to take my dog Winston. This is Winston. Winston, say hi. There's a good boy. Oh, there's a good boy. Say hello. Oh, look at him. He's such a good boy. We're going to take him to the Indian Village with us and see the sights. So I'll see you in a minute. We had to stop quick and say hello to a nice couple of people and their dog. Now we're going to go ahead and go in here. I think this entrance is pretty cool, so we'll go ahead and actually take a look at it. No, come on. Oh, there's like a, I don't know how to keep the wind out, like a bear pelt or equivalent. Buffalo pelt? Alright. Oh, look at this. This is pretty cool. This place will keep you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. I wish I could capture the smell. It just smells like, obviously they've had a fire in here, but it just smells fantastic. And they have actually pretty advanced beds raised up from the ground, which makes sense and shows me that the books that I have read and the movie Dances with Wolves may not necessarily be accurate. Obviously, as I said earlier, you know, what we see in movies and television is not indicative of all Native Americans, which that should be obvious, but, you know, I never really gave it much thought. But this is very advanced. I feel terrible saying that. Is that maybe a well? Could be a well. Could be a bathroom. Some of the items, basket weaving, bones. The smell of just like wood is quite nice. Feels like having memories of my childhood going camping, having a fire. I cannot start a fire as an adult for my life, if my life depended on it, but... Alright, so that was the Knife River Indian Villages. I do think it's worth a stop if you're driving through North Dakota. Again, it's not super far, 30 minutes off the highway, 30 minutes to walk around and take a look and do a little learning, and then 30 minutes back on the highway. So really just an hour and a half of your time just to see what I think is something cool. Again, like I said, you know, I'm used to the stereotype that Native Americans lived in teepees and they didn't have anything more structured. But this obviously shows that that is not the case. I think it's a cool learning opportunity, probably really good for kids, and definitely worth a visit in my book, just to take a quick look and learn a few new things.
Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence.
Do not bark, Winston. Do not bark. Do not bark. No bark. No bark. No bark. No bark. For once in my life, my dog knows not to bark. I wish it was not so blurry. Oh, he's scratching an itch. I went to the bathroom earlier and I walked out and there was a bison. It's probably this same one right outside the bathroom and scared the living Jesus out of me. I screamed and I was really grateful that I did not aggravate him. I had brought Winston to that bathroom actually, and earlier in the day, and I was glad that I had not run into the bison then. Oh shit, I'm getting eyeballed. He's hearing me talk. I'm not talking shit. I think my dog is gonna explode. He's shaking so hard. He's like, holy shit, what is that? That's what he's saying. Oh shit, there's another one. Come on. Oh. Oh my gosh. No bark. No bark. You get to watch, but you cannot bark. Please do not bark. Oh god. Oh, he didn't break that. He didn't break. Holy shit. Holy moly. That could have been something. Oh my god, I left my table out there. I thought they were going to take my table out. Oh, alright. So Medora is a town of about 120 people, permanent residents. The rest are individuals that come in, a couple hundred, just during the busy season, you know. Probably not too many people here during winter. And it's most famous for the Medora musical, which looks to be pretty cool. You can look at other videos to see that. Admittedly, I'm not going to be doing that this go round, but it's a pretty cool little town, very walkable. And I'm actually heading over to a restaurant here. I just checked out a restaurant that had probably about 30 people in front of me, so I was not going to be eating there for lunch, but I'm heading over to a restaurant that's going to open in about 30 minutes, and hopefully I'll be first in line. So here I am. I'm waiting outside of the Little Missouri Saloon. I've got about 25 minutes to wait. I've waited for many things in my life and waited in many lines, whether it's to a museum or to a Disney ride, so waiting 25 minutes to be first in line here is no big deal. I didn't have an opportunity to, well, no, that's a lie. I did not choose to film yesterday when I actually came into the campground. I'll do some filming later today to show you the campground, show you where I am. My site is, you know, it was last minute. There was about 5 sites left to choose from. But it's beautiful and definitely worth a visit in my opinion. It's been pretty cool. I got to see bison. I could have reached out and touched it. It scared the Jesus out of me. You'll see a clip of that if I haven't put it in already. I got to say, filming around other people is very strange. It's very weird. I don't know how bloggers do it. I'm going to try and get used to it, but I'm just eyeballing everybody up. Guys, the saloon handle is a revolver. Early bird gets the worm, or in this case, gets deck seating. Sitting in the sun or sitting in a tiny bit of shade, that's the ultimate question. Horse-drawn carriage. I think you can get carriage rides. I wonder if they take credit card. Alright, we're back at the car after our little adventure. Winston was a good boy. He had water and the windows were down, I promise. Now he's getting his reward, which is a little bit of huckleberry ice cream. Picked up some ice cream. It's the coconut castaway and huckleberry. Both are delicious. I've also picked up a new hat. I am none of these things, but it was my kind of silly hat. I've been looking for a hat that would fit my giant head. I haven't really had any luck. This is about as close as I've gotten to finding a hat that fits. It's not perfect, but I don't think I look too bad. I mean, obviously my fashionable hairnet is making it look a little weird, but for the most part it seems to fit, and I'm here for the aesthetic. It's a little silly, as well as the whiskey kind of cowgirl. I am none of those things. I drank some whiskey in college. I drank too much whiskey in college and then never again. So we're going to finish up the ice cream and head back to camp, and that's probably what I'm going to show you guys more of the van. You can see some of it right now. It's a disaster. Let me clean it and go from there. So this is my 1986 Ford Ecoline Club wagon. I have spent the last 10 months or so, with the help of my aunt, doing some restoration work, mainly to things like the motor, the tailpipe muffler, different things like that. It needed a little bit of work. And now I'm finally at the point when I can show everybody its transformation. So it was originally a traditional four-seater, actually. It only had the two in the front and then a seat in the back, but we have modified it so that it is now a camper van. So we've converted it, and I'm going to go ahead and show you everything and how it looks. So taking a look in here, the floor. So originally this was a bright red carpet. Excuse the dirt, we're actually camping as we speak. So there is a little dirt on the floor, but this was originally carpet, so we ripped this up. We found a couple of holes due to rust. We treated the rust, filled the holes, and then we did a layer of the ISO, the pink board for insulation, a layer of plywood, and then a layer of the vinyl flooring. We just picked all of that up at Home Depot. And luckily enough, the only nice wood flooring that they seem to have really works well for the aesthetic of the van. Then taking a look at here, another important thing to call out would be actually most of the shelving. So the shelving, as well as the bed frame, came from IKEA. So the shelving is all pine from IKEA, and it was originally meant for probably for children. It's got storage, so you can see here that there is metal storage bins, and so those are all over the inside of the van, and that allows for a good aesthetic. I think they're pretty cool. I like that they, for the most of the part, match, but I will say that they were a little bit more pricey. So truthfully, if I could time travel, I probably would have picked up more items from thrifting and from estate sales. So we'll go ahead and climb in here. So first, standing in front of us is my sink. Originally, this was just for storage bins, like the one that you see here, but we have modified it. So we cut a hole and we put in a bar sink. Cost like $50 or so. And then we put in a pump nozzle here. So when you want water, you can just pump it up. And I knocked that over. So when you want water, you can just pump that up and down. On Amazon, there's actually a pretty nifty item that you can use that has a motor that can pull water from your water jug rather than using a pump. I would maybe recommend that, as this required some modification in order to fit into this existing hole. And as you can see, I have another hole here, though we're going to cover that up. And then I've got these two bottles here, just picked up from Target. Half water, half vinegar, just for cleaning dishes, and then just some basic water for cleaning hands. So I thought that those were super useful, and it means that you don't use a lot of water. You can just spritz a couple of things and you're good to go. Basically, the way that this works is we have this tube, which is connected to the pump, and then this goes into my potable water. I have a 5-gallon jug. I actually have emptied it, and it's sitting outside just to dry. I had water in it from the last time that I had gone camping, which is actually the very first time this was taken out officially. I did that with my aunt. This is actually my first solo trip right now. And it had water in it, so I dumped that out because I didn't want it to grow mold or anything. And the potable water goes right here, slips right there. The hose fits in the back of the water, the 5-gallon potable water. And then in the very, very back, I do have a cheap $15 tent from Home Depot. I picked that up mainly because I had watched some YouTube videos that had indicated that some places will not allow you to buy a tent site when you go camping without setting up a tent. So I bought that just to be able to handle that kind of situation. Then taking a look at the top here. So this is actually, it was originally a Coca-Cola bottle box, so it held bottles of Coca-Cola. I picked this up at an estate sale for like $10, and I thought it was cool, but I didn't really have a use for it. And then when I got the van, it was a light bulb moment. So we took the original shelves out, and then we put some of them back in with screws, and then that creates some good shelving where I've got some books, some lights, different things like that. In the future, I intend to probably put spices and things like that here, but I didn't need it for this instance. I want to call out this item. I think it's pretty cool. You can find it on Amazon. M-powered. So this is a solar powered string of lights. So all the lights are actually hidden in the bottom here. You can pop them out and then you can solar power this. And I've just strung them in the past over these two shelves that I've created. So you could do the same if you'd like to do so, and because it's solar powered, you're not using any energy. Additionally, I added a couple of hooks. I added a hook here for my silly hat, because every girl wants to be a whiskey kind of cowgirl. But that's a good place for my hat. I just hung that there using 3M or Velcro. And then I've also hung my a couple additional items I meant to mention. You can see my pillow back there. I also got a pillow with arms, and I have actually really loved that. It's great to be able to lean against the window, so I would recommend that if you've got the space. It really just gives you, again, more ability to kind of sit and be comfortable in the back of the van. And then additionally, I have various hooks. So you can get these again on Amazon. They're just hooks. They're holding my various bags with various items, including my trash. So these are super nifty. If you have a place to be able to put them, highly recommend that. Then going over here, I do have solar panels. So I have this solar panel for my 300 watt Jackery. This was the very first thing that I bought back when I was first just thinking about going camping, really. And I was just camping in the back of my Subaru Forester, which was very cramped but doable. And I picked this up just to make that a little bit easier. But then somehow I ended up with a van. I feel like it's a slippery slope. You start camping, and then you start camping in your Subaru, and then God knows what happens, and suddenly you have a van. So that was me, and here's my van. And here are my stickers. My my own contribution. I am single. No. But you have to marry me first to drive the van. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the back of the van here. So taking a look at the back of the van, first I'm going to just address some storage. So under there is my chair, and then also under there is my tire. So I do have a spare tire under there, and if you take a look here, these are the original legs of the futon, and these are the legs that I bought off of Amazon that we also retrofit to give me some extra space to be able to fit the tire, because it could not fit otherwise. My long-term goal is actually to put the tire on the back of the van, ideally, but for now it's sitting under there, and it is relatively comfortable, and I still have a little bit of space for various items of storage. Otherwise, I've got my chair, and then I have a couple of these little chairs, whether someone needs to sit in them or I want to put my feet up. I also have a bat for emergencies, unlikely but possible, and I have a fire alarm. I also have a carbon monoxide detector, but I had issues with my tailpipe and many holes in it, and so the carbon monoxide detector would go off all the time. So I removed that and also fixed the tailpipe. Then we have this storage here. Again, I mentioned those are going to be removed, but this is basically where I just store all my food, is in that bin, and my dog's food is also in there. And then I have various other items that I don't really touch down there. I think that this section is pretty cool. It's a little bit of a mishmash. So I've got I kept losing this. I kept putting this down and then never seeing it again. So I put a little magnet. It is sort of functional, but a little bit of magnet here, and it's sort of functional, but it's acceptable enough. It holds it there, and the door does close as long as I'm careful. Then I have my shovel. Initially, I had wanted the shovel to sit more straight, and it did not. And I had already put this here, and obviously I can't fit anything there, so I fit this. I picked this up online. Super cool old Coca-Cola bottle opener for those emergencies. And then down here at the bottom, again, I'm really just trying to maximize my space usage. So I was able to pick these clamps up again at North 40, but I'm sure you could probably get something similar at like Home Depot or your equivalent hardware store. And you just are able to push in the items that you need. This is for rock hounding, I like to collect rocks. I don't know how far I'm going to go. I don't know if I'll ever need this, but I thought it would be useful. This is just a light that I keep losing in the van, so I've Velcroed it here so I will not. And then I have an axe should I need it for wood purposes. And so that's really the back. The last thing to call out are these hooks. So we applied hooks using the existing screws on the windows, and I just stuck my 2 solar panels on that. The reason that I only have one going is because apparently the plugins for the Jackery solar panels are not all the same. And the plugs for this one do not match the plugs on my Jackery 300. So it doesn't work. So I got to figure out and find I've got to find an alternative, really, to be able to make that work. But I will. So yeah, hooks on both sides, just again for storage purposes. And then one last thing that I meant to mention is actually, you can see it here, not my best work, but we did take all the panels off. So we took all the panels off the walls and we put Thinsulate on the inside for added insulation. So we did do that. I would recommend it. It made a tremendous difference. We were working on this really throughout all of the winter, and it was very cold. And the minute we put in the Thinsulate, it made a significant difference in the temperature. And so I'd highly recommend that. We put that in everywhere. And the way that these doors are designed is you can just look on the inside, and so you can see them there. Additionally, we had a little bit of difficulty, but we did also pick up these traditionally go on rugs, but we wanted something to just kind of edge out the flooring. So we picked these up, we flipped it around, and we stuck it right here and just drilled it in just to have that protecting the insides of the flooring. And then I also picked up this step. It just slides into the trailer hitch, and I have found it very useful, so I do highly recommend that as well. Most of the items that you see in here you can likely get on Amazon for the most part, because I did. But if you have any questions about a specific item, I'm more than happy to provide specific links and being able to find them. Christmas in July kind of stuff is coming up, I think. It's a little after July 4th when I made this video, and I'll try and post it shortly. But you should be able to find some deals, I'm sure. Otherwise, Black Friday, I picked up the Jackery 300 on Black Friday, and I got like, I don't know, $100, $150 off. So yeah, that's the van. So I had initially intended to take the scenic byway. It's 36 miles. However, when I went to go turn, it said that the road was closed. I'm on a different, I think I'm on kind of the back end of the scenic byway. I'd intended to turn and just make a loop. I'm not sure though then what will happen as I drive this way, if I'm going to run into the same closure at some point and have to turn around. That's going to suck if that's the case. I was hoping to do this, but we'll see. But sometimes roads need construction work, so if not, I mean, the views are pretty gorgeous even though I can't go on the byway. And I mean, I've already seen some super cute prairie dogs, and I have a super cute dog right there, maybe. This is the problem with having the camera the way that it is. Well, whether the dog is there or not, I'll find out in post-production. Hello and happy Saturday. So today we're going to be checking out the North Unit section of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. But before that, we did have to have a sandwich. I think I found the best meal deal in Medora, which is actually at the convenience store. You can go in and make your own sandwich for $6.99. Subway isn't even that cheap anymore. So that was pretty great, just to be able to swing in there, pick up what I needed, and pick up a sandwich. I may have also stopped and picked up a little ice cream too. Highly recommend the Coconut Castaway if you happen to stop for ice cream along the strip mall that's in Medora. It's pretty good. It's definitely a warm day today, not super sweltering, thankfully. Not, thanks. Oh goodness. All right. Well, that lady thought I was filming in front. I was not. So we're going to check out the North Loop today. Or it's not a loop, I should say, the North Unit. The main reason that I wanted to come here is because I was actually interested in something called the Cannonball secretions. No, concretions. No. I'll find it. But I saw another YouTuber who visited, and I thought they looked pretty cool, pretty otherworldly. And the views actually so far just driving here have been pretty cool, so I bet it'll be the same here as it is in the South Park. God, cannonball something. I'll get it, I promise. Okay. Cannonball concretions, not secretions. Cannonball concretions. Look at Winston. He's not even caring. Do you judge me, Winston? No, because he's a good boy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and head over and take a look at those. And I will show you guys in a little bit. So one of the more difficult things I've had to deal with while on this trip has been juggling my power supply. So the issue that I have really been running into is that, well, first two things. The first is that, you know, my own failure at thinking certain things too. I purchased a power station that I was not able to connect my Jackery solar panels to. I'm hoping that there's some kind of converting I could get. If not, you know, I'll make it work. I can plug my Jackery into my other power station and transfer power over that way, but that's a little bit cumbersome. But that was my first error, and my second error was I had thought that all of the Jackery 100-watt solar panels all had the same hookups, basically. So if it was for a Jackery 1000, 1500, 300, it didn't matter. I could just purchase one off of Facebook Marketplace and it would work, and I did that. And I got a good deal, and I thought, fantastic, we're great. But what I didn't realize is that that particular solar panel had different cords than what my Jackery 300 has. So that does not work. And so I have to figure out and find an adapter for that. I'm sure that there is one that exists. I mean, Jackery would be foolish enough not to have, they would be foolish not to have an adapter option for that available. But we'll see. But obviously I should have checked it and done a little bit more research and just been a little bit more on top of my power supply. Admittedly, because this is my first trip, I didn't think I would be too concerned, though I had extended it a bit longer than I had initially planned. And so now I'm just kind of juggling power, you know. So I'm charging my phones while I'm driving. I'm trying to charge power stations while I'm driving. I'm admittedly also, you know, there's a decent amount of rain, so I'd wake up in the morning and it would be sunny. Ooh, buffalo. I would wake up in the morning and it would be sunny. And I would pull out the Jackery and charge it for a little bit, but not very long. And then I'd go about my day, go run around like I'm doing right now, and basically I just use up all of the sun. Ooh, cows? Bulls. I didn't know they had wild bulls. Do you think they're wild bulls? Wow. Zoom. Look at that. I was just filming so you weren't bored looking at my face, and we get to see some wildlife. Look at the horns. I would not want to be gouged by those. My dog is overly interested, and that's why I brought a seatbelt for him so he can't escape my car. But yeah, look at those. They're gorgeous. But oh, there's another one. There he is. Look at him. He's a big boy eating some grass. Oh, look at those horns. All right. Oh, are you gonna cross, cow? Are you thinking about it? You gonna go? Yeah, do it. Go. I'm waving him on. Yeah. Look at him. My dog is freaking out. He's like, what is that? I hope I'm filming it. I'm probably not. My dog has fallen off the seat. Okay. Anyway, now that we've enjoyed the bulls, so with my power concerns, every afternoon it would storm and basically be cloudy for the rest of the day, so I'd go out and do stuff while it's sunny, and then by the time I got back to the campsite, it would be, well, it would be storming, and I mean seriously storming. So obviously I can't get any solar panel power for that, and also I don't want to be plugging in and charging from the battery too much. You know, this is almost a 40-year-old vehicle. The battery is new. I purchased it sometime within the last 10 months, amongst many other things that I purchased for this vehicle to get it in good working order. But you know, I don't want to risk anything in the good graces of the van. So that's why. But that's one of the biggest struggles. I'm hoping that I can get that sorted before my next big trip. I probably will take this on like some weekend trips. That's really my ideal, and just like a couple hours away from home, maybe explore more of Minnesota. That's really the goal for the next little bit, I think, and then save up a little money and hopefully purchase the necessary adapters to make all of this a little bit easier. Otherwise, I do need to make sure that I go to a camp that has hookups and hopefully doesn't charge, you know, $60 a day, because there are places like that. You know, if I can find a place with reasonably priced hookups, then I can go there and get all the power that I need. But this hasn't been too bad. You know, the 1,000 watt has been able to charge my my fridge basically from Wednesday night until Saturday today. It's on basically like 11% right now. Well, actually, you know what? I'm a liar. I charged it up using the Jackery 300, and I put about, you know, 300 watts in it. So that extended it. The fridge that I have doesn't use a ton of power, but obviously if you're leaving it on at nights and everything else, you know, time does drain it. But it seems like it lasts, you know, 2, maybe 3 days on 1,000 watts for the fridge alone. And then I did also plug in my internet so that I could have internet occasionally back when I'm back at camp in the evenings, just, you know, to surf the internet and watch stupid YouTube videos as you do. But look at that. That is just gorgeous. You can't even really see it on camera. You don't get the majesty. And I have a car behind me, so I can't go that slow. I mean, this is a road for like 30 miles an hour, but there's also no passing. And I can't gawk at everything except for wild animals. But right now we're heading to the Cannonball concretions, which I thought looked, again, like I said, alien, not secretions. That would be a little weird. I may have already passed it. God only knows. I was hoping there was a sign. We'll find out. Probably is one, but who knows. But yeah. All right. I'll see you at the Cannonball concretions. These are pretty cool. Perfect circles, almost. Like rolling a giant snowball made of clay. Kind of looks like rain. I'm hoping that it's not the case, because rain out here does not play. It is pretty crazy. But we'll see. It's beautiful. But I don't want to drive in it. So moments ago I said, I don't know if it's worth coming all the way out here because it's an hour outside of Medora. Look at this. Look at that. Look at it. My goodness. This was towards the end of that trail, and this is just gorgeous. Genuinely. I was pretty sad yesterday that I couldn't go on the scenic loop at the south entrance of Theodore Roosevelt. This is a pretty good replacement for that, in my humble opinion. Probably about as much time that you'd end up taking just driving out here and then driving only the 14 miles. But this is really fantastic. My goodness. Oh, we're zooming in. Zoom. Look at that. Look at the river. Badlands. It's pretty cool. Trying to beat the rain to the top of the trail here, and we got to see a whole bunch of bison. How cool is that? Winston just tried to jump out the window and go to the bison. And thank God I had a seatbelt on him, because that could have ended really badly. I love him, but he's not always the sharpest tool in the shed. Not to mention the bison would stomp him out, let's be honest. But he thinks they are the coolest thing since sliced bread from the minute he saw them. Alright, it looks like we've made it to the end. Perfect timing. I got to see a little bit more wildlife before we made it up here. It's just starting to drizzle now, so we more or less beat the rain. Now the question is, will we be able to make it down in time to avoid the majority of the rain? Because the rain was crazy. Yesterday, there was hail. I am not ready for more hail. This is already an old car. We don't need to damage it any more than it's already been damaged by age. So we're gonna loop around and hope for the best. Some kind of overlook up here. I don't know what it is, but if I've driven this far, I've got to check it out. Everybody's running because the storm's coming. But we'll see if this was worth getting out of the car at the very end. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was, let's be honest. All right, guys, let's see the view. Oh, wow. See, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Like I'm in Africa. Look at that. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth coming here. Don't listen to the earlier version of myself. I was wrong. Alright, we're gonna run back to the car. Right, now we're gonna drive very slowly and very carefully for our lives! Ah! Okay, I'm just being a little dramatic, but the storms here are no joke, so I'm hoping that I can... Yeah, no, listen, look at the rain. It's happening. It's coming. I may have to pull over. We'll find out. Lord, let these wipers be good enough. Okay, but look at this gangster. Look at him. He does not give a shit. I'm getting soaked. I really appreciate that. They're take no prisoners type of animals. They do not care. And they're just going to eat their grass. We're back from our adventure, which it was pretty much an adventure in the North Unit of Theodore Roosevelt State Park, and it was really cool. At first I was like, I don't know if it was worth it. No, it was totally worth it. It was very worth it. I think the rain just made it even more cool. We got to see some up close and personal wildlife, and I just think it was pretty awesome. Again, a little bit out of the way, but we managed to get back just in time for the PITCHFORK steak fondue. So there's two things you always have to do in Medora when you visit. The first is the PITCHFORK steak fondue, and the second is the Medora musical. Now, I'm not going to be doing the Medora musical again. I've got a dog in the van, and I'm going to have the windows open. He's got access to water. He is good to go. But the Medora musical is probably decently long, and I'm not going to just leave him in the van for that. But I am going to go to the PITCHFORK steak fondue. Don't intend to spend a ton of time, and I'm just really a few feet to it from the van, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm going to go, and I will film that and show you what that looks like, and I think it's going to be a good time and a delicious time. This costs about $50. It was like $49 and some change with tax. You buy a ticket online in order to do this, and it appears as though they do it almost every day. And there's a couple of different time slots, so I don't think you would have to worry too much about being able to get a spot. It is steak, which they deep fry. It's on a pitchfork, which you'll see in the next clip, and then there's also, I believe, a buffet as well. So we're gonna go check that out and see if the hype is worth it. Let's go. Hello, beautiful. I had to switch sides of the table because there's a rainbow. What a beautiful end to my day. Steak and rainbows. Well, I'd say for $50, that's a pretty good meal. And it's a buffet, so you can go up and get more sides if you want. I don't know if you can get a second steak. but I don't think I would need a second steak, that's for sure. Time to dig in. All right, so the last stop of the day is going to be the Painted Canyon Visitor Center. I'm here to see the Painted Canyon, and the best way to really see it from what I've seen is to see it during sunset. So we are here about an hour and a half early for sunset, so we are going to be waiting. I'm going to go into the visitor center, I'm going to check things out, feed Winston dinner and give him a walk, and we'll wait it out and we will take a look at the Painted Canyon, hopefully with a really beautiful sunset. I'm thinking our luck will hold, but we'll see. If not, I mean, it's going to be gorgeous anyway. So I see some little ears. Whose little ears are they? Who's spying on me? It's Winston! I think waiting for sunset was worth it. How gorgeous is that, honestly? It's just beautiful. Maybe not the most spectacular sunset this place has seen, but pretty darn great in my book. Now you guys just have to come here and catch a better sunset than I did. All right, we made it back to the campsite. I don't actually know the time. It's probably close to 9. Yeah, 9:15. The last of the sun is leaving the horizon as we speak. I think that we got to see some really cool stuff in the Painted Canyon, and overall I think that this journey has been pretty fantastic for my first solo adventure. It got off to a little bit of a rough start, but driving for 8 hours in one go was maybe not my best idea. But once we actually got here, got settled in, things have been pretty fantastic. So tomorrow is Sunday, and what I'm going to be doing actually is it's my last day here in the Cottonwood campgrounds, and we're going to be leaving in the morning, and then we're going to be driving to Jamestown, North Dakota, and we're going to stay there. So it's about 4 hours away from here, and we're going to stay at a campground near there, as long as they have openings. And we'll check out the frontier town in Jamestown, as well as just, the sites for small towns, right? Maybe have a good lunch, good dinner. I'm sure that they've got some good food there. But we'll go, and we will stay there. And then on Monday, I'm going to spend the night, like I said, at Jamestown, and then on Monday I'll drive the 4 hours remaining back home. Figured it would be better to split it up, and we can, see the sights. I've seen pretty much everything that I wanted to see here in Theodore Roosevelt National Park and in Medora. So next step is we'll check out Jamestown on the way back home, and any remaining sites are things that I had intended to do. World's biggest buffalo. Speaking of, the world's biggest buffalo is in Jamestown. And I've realized that the entire time that I have been recording this, I've been saying bison. And I don't actually know what the correct answer is. If you want to tell me if I've been wrong this entire time saying bison every time we see one, and it's supposed to be buffalo, please let me know, because I'm like 90% sure now that I was wrong. Because why would you have the world's largest buffalo if everything was bison? So that's my bad. I don't know why I got stuck on that. I mean, comment so I know for sure, but not my best moment. Okay. Well, we're going to hang out. We're going to have access to the internet for as long as my Jackery holds out with the 5G. And then we'll head to bed, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good night. So this is the Jamestown Frontier Village, just a cute little place. I decided to stop and spend the night in Jamestown so I don't have to drive 8 hours straight, just because it was a little stressful last time. Meanwhile, on the way here, I forgot to buckle Winston in, and I had his window down all the way, and he almost jumped out the window. So yeah, I can never ever forget that ever again. That scared the Jesus out of me. But it's a cute little place. All right, we're on our last last night of the road trip. We did end up going to Jamestown. It was not particularly interesting, I'll be honest. It was kind of cool to see the cute little buildings, but really, I probably could have skipped it. So you guys can make the judgment for yourself. I'm sure there's other videos on it, but in the end, I'll put a quick clip and you can see what it looks like. But for the most part, I wasn't particularly amazed. But overall, I think this has been a really fantastic trip. I'm really glad that I took it. It was, again, my first solo trip by myself in the van, and for the most part, it worked pretty well. It got a little bit of a stressful start. There was a little bit of stress with the van working, but overall, it's been pretty fantastic. And so there isn't really going to be too much from now. I'm going to be heading to bed in a few hours, and then I am going to be heading home in the morning. So I really appreciate you guys going with me on this. I'm happy that I was able to show you the sights and experience everything with you. And I hope that you subscribe, and I hope that I see you on the next video. Bye-bye.